There's a lot going on with Drake and these really cool reference tracks, so I compiled a few clips for dummies like me to get the lowdown. Nice and easy.
Look, this is a hot topic. A lot of people are talking about it. More reference tracks leaked. I think there's more probably coming. So we got to talk about it. Now we can look at, we're going to take a look at the ones that leaked. And I'm going to get your guys' opinions on it. You know, who cares? Everyone has ghostwriters. See, everybody says that, right? Everybody says, oh, they're all using writers. But like, where's the reference tracks for any of these other artists? It seems like Drake is the only one who's really having this problem where over and over again, we're getting reference track after reference track after reference track. Now, I think you guys are right that people collaborate, but for whatever reason, those reference tracks don't leak. There's very few that we've seen from other people, but for him, it just seems to be over and over and over again. But like, you know, a cardinal rule of hip hop is you need to write your bars. And I've always agreed with that. I think it puts you in a different place if you're not writing your actual bars. Now, as far as like the R&B stuff, like, or like the stuff that Yeti did for him, that stuff didn't really bother me. Like, there's a difference, I feel like, than ghostwriters and people that are credited too. So we'll look and see if these guys are credited, because like the one that's coming up right now is Beam. And if you guys can remember, Beam was someone that Kendrick said that was writing for Drake during the battle.
So in Euphoria, Kendrick says, ain't no 20v1, this is 1v20 if I gotta smack niggas that right with you. Yeah, bring them out too, I'll clean them out too, tell Beam that he better stay right with you. Damn. I let this bar go over my head because I didn't know who Beam was. Every lyric in this is something, and it's insane. And had I looked up the lyrics, I would have seen this. So it says, Beam is a multi-talented artist, producer, and songwriter within the music industry. He's collaborated with Beyonce, good friend of Justin Bieber, and notably has writing credits on Drake and 21 Savage's Rich Flex. And look, man, I know people gonna look at this and they gonna say, well, what does that mean? He could have did anything for anybody. True. When these reference tracks leak, that becomes a bigger issue, man. It's crazy because at this time, right, even with the Genius annotation, right, they wrote, Kendrick alleges Drake needs people like Beam to assist him in writing his tracks. This has been a long-standing criticism against the Toronto rapper ever since Meek Mill similarly called him out for it in 2016 during their beef.
Dim Crux is the producer for the artist Beam. Beam is a ghostwriter or somebody who helped write for Drake, and he has credits already for Her Loss. Now, we've talked about him being the ghostwriter for Drake currently in the recent video, and how Dim Crux has been showing all of these snippets, all of these leaks that connect him, Beam, together with Drake. He's been making that connection obvious and clear, and nobody didn't really know why he was doing this. Several people could only guess that he was upset at Drake or was trying to expose something. And boy, were we right, because now it's getting spooky every day in October. Dim Crux had left a very crazy message, a very disturbing message in his Instagram story. And we're going to check it out to see exactly what he says, because he calls out two people. Apparently he calls out Tyga and Drake. And this is the craziest part about it all. It's what he says about them that is getting people talking. So in this video, it's several stories. It starts off by saying, let's not start on them palm trees, BAM. And then he continues the story. He continues typing in here. And then the next thing that he says is a lot more crazier. It just gets crazier as it goes on. He says, and let me not get started on the house, which I'm assuming he's talking about the embassy. He says, so whoever keeps doing that BS, gonna be jumping with no hands.
Now, more recently, if y'all can remember, within the last couple months or so, there was a Drake leak, which there's always those, titled Trump Tower, or at the time when it was leaked, people were calling it Triumph Tower, right? Which seems like they were probably trying to change the title of the song so that it wouldn't be associated with Trump, right? But in the song, he actually name drops the Trump Towers. Now we have a reference track of this Trump Tower leak with Beam singing the lyrics and rapping the lyrics in some of the melodic rap portions. And not only that, but we're also seeing that there is an underground artist that actually was heard singing some of the same lyrics on his song. Now, again, this is going to get into some underground trenches, because I've never heard of, what is this kid's name? Wolfface Joey before. But apparently, Beam wrote on both songs. There's a song called 3 Star by Wolfface Joey that came out at the top of this year, featuring some of the lyrics that were also in the Trump Tower record with Drake. So this is intertwined in 3 different areas. There's the Trump Tower Drake, there's the Trump Tower reference with Beam's voice on it, and then there's an underground artist by the name of Wolfface Joey who actually has some of those lyrics in his song called 3 Star, which has co-writing credits on it from Beam.
Fucking in a Trump Tower, trying to get me canceled. Hey, gas the shawty, let's get it started. Down ass nigga, cause I'm down for you already.
All right, so this here is Beam with his reference track for Drake's Trump Tower, which was leaked out in the wee hours of the morning.
Gas the shawty, let's get it started. Down ass nigga, cause I'm down for you already. Down for you already.
Even with these Drake tracks that he is not putting out or he has been working on behind the scenes ever since the beef, he is still scrambling around with writers, and despite everything that has happened and despite everything he's even tried to prove with the lawsuit, he has not tried to even pretend that his art and that his character as a rapper is just getting even slightly more artistic integrity and dignity. But now beyond looking at that, what really is crazy here and what makes you wonder if there is maybe some sort of a beef going on with Drake and Beam and his team as a whole is just this whole idea of Beam's producer putting out this reference for everybody to hear, and then as a result, letting us all just see another blemish on Drake's artistic resume and just find more and more proof of how little he is actually contributing to the sound and direction of his music.
What up, word? Your boy Challz Brown back again, talking facts. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit notification bell. Keep sending those Cashapps to CLBMG. Join the membership gang. So, I know that was a little bit long, but I wanted you to get the full picture of what's been going on. It's been insane the last 48 hours, I want to say. This guy cannot stay out of his own way. There is always somebody out there waiting to get involved because some wrongdoings have occurred. But I want to be here for a while, gang. I'm just going to break this down slowly because there's so much to discuss with this. It's not just about the reference tracks, because we've seen that all before. I almost didn't click it when I first saw the first announcement, right? That there were new reference tracks. It's like, oh, great. What, we got some more. Like, at some point, the reference tracks ain't even news no more. But what is news now is what's going on with this particular round of reference tracks. They are a little bit different than the other rounds that we've been seeing, gang. We've had the actual producer allegedly get beat up and all kind of stuff, which is, hey, they've done this before too as well, but it's been a while. So there's so much going on. Kendrick literally named a guy that's involved with this. There's a lot going on, gang. I'm just going to tell you right now, get you some Cracker Jacks, get you some Nutter Butters, right? Get you some Mike and Ike's. Settle in, gang. We're going to be here for a while. Some tapioca, pudding. I don't know what you like, but get you something good that's going to sustain you, because this is going to take a minute. If you can rock out with me, gang. But I want to talk about this because first things first, we're right back here with this ghostwriter situation, and I don't know how we still are having this conversation in 2025. It's getting to the point that it feels to me, and I got the clip up there, basically showing that they're trying to change the narrative of just ghostwriters itself. They're trying to make that cool now, gang. They're trying to make it like we've seen it so much they can't even defend it anymore. It's to the point where you have to basically just bow down and accept it. And that's where we are with this situation. I'm looking at the Drake fans at this point. They're just accepting it. They went from denial. They went from all kind of posts saying, who is this guy? We don't even know who this guy is. Why would you trust him? To, man, everything he does is so cold, it don't even matter. And now you got your boy Akademiks out, as usual, trying to say basically everybody in the industry ghost, right? So why are we still talking about Drake? So at the end of the day, we're getting a whole level of coping that we really don't see that often anymore. But the point of the matter is, we never see anybody else's reference tracks, right? Like Akademiks did a whole posts about, I hate to break it to you, but even your GOATs got reference tracks. Well, I don't remember no Jay-Z Ghost track coming out. No reference track. I don't remember no Nas reference track. I haven't heard none of these things that Akademiks is talking about. So I know it's easy to keep saying over and over that, oh yeah, everybody does it. You can get a hook. It doesn't matter the level that they do it. As long if they get anything. Well, no, it don't work like that. That's not what this is about. We're talking about hip hop. If you're trying to be named number one hip hop, you want to be in the top 5 conversation, then you can't just get there off of stream sales and fake songs. It don't work like that. We need you to really put pen and paper and make some real good music. So where we're at right now is they're trying to make it where we can cope and not have any issues with ghostwriting anymore. They're trying to make it where we got to accept it through the whole culture. Well, we're not accepting it. The simple fact of the matter is I'm here to say something that hasn't been said that should have been said. First things first. I know the narrative over the course of I want to say at least 25, 30 years, the narrative has been, and they're still going to say this, but we got to understand that this is inaccurate information. When they try to tell you if the person is credited, they can't be a ghostwriter. So I'm here to break your bubble. In hip hop, if I got to go look in the credits to see that your rhyme was written by someone else, that is ghostwriting. Okay? If he's not a part of the record, he's not a feature, if he's not someone that we know is involved with that record, and I got to go look in the credits and he wrote all 16 of your bars, he's a ghostwriter. If I got to go figure out who, you didn't say it in the verse, well, my man, homie Loke wrote this one, gang. Yo, give it up to my man, homie Loke. If you're not disclosing that super dope, cool verse that you just spit, it's not written by you, that is a ghostwriter. I think that narrative, we got to start re-examining some of the shit we say, gang. Like, hip-hop is not about that. Okay, you're going to say Cardi B, Salt and Pepper, all these different people had people write their rhymes and their verses. Kid and Play. Kid wrote all the rhymes for Play. We all knew that, though. Like, we knew who wasn't writing it. And we're talking that stuff from a long time ago. But at the end of the day, if you're going to be named as one of the top GOATs, you want to be in the top 5 conversation, right? I don't think none of the people I name ever talk about, I need to be in a top 5 conversation right there with Jay and Nas. So when somebody's saying that, and you got somebody that I got to go open up your album cover and see their name and figure out which name it is out of 10, 15 names, oh, he wrote them 16 bars, that's a ghostwriter, gang. So let's be clear about this situation. I think that a lot of people, they don't understand the difference between the music industry and hip hop. Okay, hip hop entered the music industry, but hip hop was created a whole different way. Hip hop was low. I write my raps myself. I get up there and say my rhymes. And if I don't write my raps myself, then people know that. It's not something that you got to go search in the credits to figure out. We all know that Dr. Dre don't write no raps. We all been known for years that Eazy-E never wrote his raps. You ain't have to go find out who wrote. Well, they'll tell you straight up, Eazy-E. Well, Eazy-E, the Ice Cube wrote that, and Ren wrote some of them verses. Like, it was always, it's disclosed. If we got to keep doing this research and tracks keep leaking and reference things keep coming out, and we got to keep always trying to find out who wrote this one, who wrote that one, they all ghostwriters. I don't give a fuck if you wrote their name in the credits or not. That has nothing to do with hip-hop. Hip-hop ain't about what's in the liner credits, right? That's not what hip-hop is about. And that's where we at with this thing where we could do anything and say anything, and nobody, they done changed the terms of snitching, right? They done changed the terms of everything that used to mean one thing, now it means another. Let's just be honest. So the simple fact of the matter is, we're talking about ghostwriters. If it took a year, if you brought a song out a year ago, and in your credit it's a bunch of names, and we don't know them names, what them names are in there for, and then someone has to leak a track with him saying your verse, and that's how, oh, this is the song, that's a literal ghostwriter. They want to make it like it's not, but that's exactly what that is, gang. I'm just going to be honest with you. All right? Just so you know and I know. So we need to change this narrative of, oh, if he's in the notes. No, if he's in the notes and nobody knows that he wrote that, he's a ghostwriter. So we're going to keep that clear, okay? So let's move forward so you know where I'm coming from when I'm talking about this situation. Now, I've been hearing, you saw the intro. We've been hearing, and it's not even new, but we've been hearing these reference tracks and this conversation about the ghostwriters. And let's just be honest, as the more I'm hearing about these reference tracks, they do it better than your gang. They do it better than your boy. Almost all of the reference tracks are better than when they presented them. The guys that did it are usually better. They sound better. The music is better. The tone, the inflection, the soulfulness. This is a really cool ghostwriter. These guys really are talented. Let's start there. A lot of these guys we're talking about, the only one that we know that really broke free was The Weeknd. But the rest of these guys are in these, I don't know what kind of deals these are. They go on for years. These guys have no desire. I don't know if they got desire because they seem to be making their own music, but they have no whims of ever getting out of these deals. They just do it forever until infinity and beyond, gang. But at the end of the day, I told you when I heard that party, when I heard that it's the Happy Ratchet birthday, I said, this motherfucker singing his ass off. They got some really good, these guys are really good. I'm just going to be honest. So this is how you're getting all of this love for this guy because he's really sucking up a lot of really talented guys and put this motherfucker Shang Tsung guy. He just suck up all the souls into his body and now he more powerful. That's what we got right now. So when I'm listening to these, I listen to the versions of all this. I listen to every time these things drop. I'm gonna listen to it at some point, right? And these guys are better. they really talented individuals. So what we're seeing right now is you're usurping, and I don't know. I'm just me as a person. I can't be a fan of a person that used this many people to create and craft these things that I hold dear. That's why I'm a fan. I'm just a different kind of fan, right? And I understand you're gonna say, well, Michael Jackson, this, that, and the third. Well, Michael Jackson wrote a lot of his stuff, and he did use singers. He did use songwriters, this, that, and the third. Beyonce, a lot of people. But we know that going in, right? And hip hop, we don't do that in hip hop, right? End of the day, when they do it, like I said, it's full disclosure. You know Dr. Dre don't write, you're not expecting it, right? Everybody on that album that's rapping with him is rapping, right? Now imagine this. Imagine all that stuff that Dr. Dre, Corrupt, or the Dog Pound, Snoop Dogg. Imagine the Chronic as a whole, as an entity, the Chronic. The entire Chronic, every single person rapping on there was not the actual songwriter. If everybody on the Chronic had a ghostwriter, if everybody was on there, was behind the scenes with the writers and everybody in the front was memorizing that stuff and mimicking that stuff, would the Chronic still be a classic album? Like, ask yourself, like, some of this stuff gotta be from the horse's mouth. That's why we love the rappers we love, and that's why this is an issue. That's why this is an issue. If you're a pop star, do your thing. Sabrina Carpenter, whoever you are, Britney Spears, whoever. That's a conglomerate. We get lost in the sauce that this is a business, right? The rap, the music business, not the rap, but the rap has become a part of the music business. The music business is to come out of the studio with the best song. Back in the day, if you were a new artist, you had no choice. You wasn't writing nothing. The entire 16 tracks was written by somebody else. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, somebody, very well-known, established producers produced your entire thing. That was the whole fight back in the day. I want to write my own music. They would never, that was why people was always upset about something, because they wouldn't let you write when you walk through the door. That's why the conversation that this guy's a 100% plant needs to be discussed more. It needs to be discussed more. There's no way you can have this many reference tracks and have this many talented people working. This is what they do. When they make these farms, these talent farms, this is what they do for major artists. That's why Kanye got so comfortable with it. That's why Dr. Dre is so comfortable with it. This talent farm mentality, that's what they do for major artists, right? They're going to get the best record that's going to make the most money. They want all the ears in the room that's going to have an opinion that's going to push that record forward, right? Now, hip-hop, when we start peeling back the layers of hip-hop, okay, you make a big record, you got platinum plaques, this, that, and the third, you're Ludacris, this, that, whoever it is, that's all good in the beginning. But when we start talking about the best, that ghostwriter stuff gone, gang. It has no place in the conversation no more. That's why this is still an issue. It wouldn't be an issue. First of all, let's just imagine if he disclosed this stuff from day one. Just imagine if it was like, okay, Randy wrote this one, and then my homeboy Zeke and my man Turk, he wrote that one. If he disclosed this stuff and humbled himself, I got a whole video coming about what if Drake was humble, right? I got a video. It's a concept I got. I'm like, gang, just imagine if this guy, okay, he was a plant. He knew he was a plant, but he was humble about it. And he was like, oh, shucks, well, guys, thank you. If he was humble about being a plant, it'd be a different conversation. It'd be a whole different subject if this guy was more in tune with, you're not as good as you're acting. You need mad people to make you good as you think you are. That's a different subject, and I'm going to talk about that. But at this point, he's not humble about this shit. This guy and his fans think that he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they treat him as such. And here we go with this whole thing all over again where we got all these reference tracks coming out. And you see that the talent is elsewhere in that room. And I'm just going to be honest, for me, I don't see if I was fans of an artist, and even like What's the Dirt, these other people, they're starting to come around. It's starting to hurt because they're moving the goalposts. They're saying, well, if I found out that the rap songs are written by someone else, then I got a problem. Like when Akademiks first heard, what was that last year? The reference tracks came out. I don't know if it was Rico or something like that. When he first heard that, they started trying to push the narrative. Well, if it was the timestamp records, then I would have a problem. So you're fine with anything that he gets written for, except if he's really supposed to be representing himself. But guess what? To most of us, he's representing himself on all of them songs, whether they slow, fast, or whatever. He's representing himself on all of them because, once again, we're not being told that they're written by other people. We're finding out with leaks and this, that, and the third. So just like you're like, if this song, that song, if I found out that somebody wrote that, then I probably start being, What's the Dirt literally said that. If I found out that such and such wrote this or this was not, so it has to be, and then he went even further and say, well, the more sing-song you want, they're pushing the goalpost, gang, is crazy. The more melodic tracks, that's fine. But if it's more rapping, then I got an issue. It's deranged mentality. But let me be here to clarify some of this shit for these people that want to keep moving the goalposts. Well, if it's this, it's that. If we got to find out from going into your credits that song is written by somebody else, that's cool on pop. That's cool if you're going to make pop music and Afro beat music or world music, or you're doing Cape Verdean music, whatever. That's cool. But don't come in hip hop talking about you the Don Dada of this when we know someone's over in that corner writing their ass off, and then you go and memorize that shit. God knows, imagine how long it take them to memorize the shit. Right? It all reeks to me. I'm like, gang, you literally sit there and go in the shower or whatever, and you listen to this guy over and over, and you start acting like this guy. I don't know if y'all process what's going on. Like, the swag isn't this guy's swag. He got to act like this guy and start figuring out how to sound and mimic this guy's whole steez. And that's a problem in hip-hop, gang. That's a problem in hip-hop. Even with Eazy-E never tried to act or move around like nobody else. With this guy, when you listen to these reference tracks, he has to pick up their whole steez, the soul. He got to pull that from them. Because hip-hop is different, gang. It's different. We trust you, what you're saying on these records, even if you're melodic, right? Even if you're sing-songy, we're trusting what this cool-ass vibe you're putting out. We're believing that that's your cool vibe. What these Drake fans don't understand is they're falling in love with swag from someone else that's off in the background. And this guy's a chameleon, changing into all these different flows and all these different vibes and moods that he's never been a part of. And even if he has been a part of it, that's somebody else getting the vibe from it and telling them how to feel. So you have to understand what's going on. It's a whole different animal when we understand, okay, this ain't just, yo, you're writing rhymes, you taking my rhyme. No, they're making stuff to fit what this guy's doing. They keep saying, well, the writers that you're talking about, they don't even write like that, right? Supposedly Beam, he's nicer than this. He don't write like that. Well, apparently he's do now because he's doing it for this guy, and this guy's memorizing it and making it into a whole record. So the whole ghostwriting narrative, we got to figure out where we going to, well, I ain't got to figure out shit. I know where it's at. Right? I'm just going to be honest. At this point in time, I don't care how much money you make. If someone else is penning your bars and you got ghost writers, like I told you, somebody that I got to figure out a year later that you didn't write that, that's a problem for me. If I find out Westside Gunn got a ghostwriter, that's going to be, first of all, I'm going to be like, what? Why? But at the end of the day, I'm going to be like, yo, we really got to have a conversation because Westside Gunn say some really outlandish, crazy shit, right? Got some fire shit, but at the end of the day, if somebody else going in there writing that and then they spit it and then he go in and memorize it, then he comes out and says it with all that braggadocious and brolic, we're going to have a congregation about that. We're going to have to decide, okay, is Westside Gunn really in the culture like that? I'm just going to be honest. I don't feel like, okay, I know it's a lot of dudes that got in the culture for the hustle. They got in the culture for the game of it, for the money of it. And so they will get written for. That's fine. At the end of the day, we question that. Anybody that just getting the culture for the money, let's just start there. Anybody just getting the culture just for the money that's already a problem. But at the end of the day, if you getting the culture for the money and you don't disclose or whatever, we're gonna have an issue with that. So at this point in time, this is why everybody's talking about. This is why this is such a big story. And the Drake fans at this point in time, we're seeing them in real time coping with this. right? They've been getting hit from this angle of reference tracks for so long. They're done trying to deny it. Right? Remember the kid came out last year, he was saying that on that No Face record, I think that was earlier this year. No, whenever it was, right? The No Face record that they bit his bars, they lifted him, clearly lifted it from this kid. The first thing they did was try to discredit the kid. The first thing they did, because the kid came out of nowhere, some dude off SoundCloud. But I'm 100% that Drake's team, whoever these guys are, these ghostwriters, this, and the third, even the ghostwriters running out of shit, right? I'm 100%. It's already clear that they scour SoundCloud. Didn't they find Quentin Miller like that? So they scour SoundCloud trying to look for guys to rock with. We've already heard that almost every guy that they find on SoundCloud that they talk to, they try to bring him into the OVO thing. If the guy don't come or he don't come fast enough, they take his shit from him anyway. So we already know that's what's going on. But the first thing these guys wanted to do when that kid came out saying that, yo, those are my bars, line for line, and it's not like one bar, two. It's like it keeps going. I'm like, bro, you listening to like, bro, you literally lifting bro's whole swag. So that's why that's a problem. But these guys are getting to the point where they're trying to turn that into, what's wrong with that? Right? Akademiks is coping by telling you Jay-Z do it too. Everybody do it too. Right? And then the fans and the stands on Twitter, of course, once again, X, right? They're trying to basically get to a point where they're beyond shame. It's not shameful anymore. Why are you embarrassed? Don't be embarrassed. I guarantee the mandate. I guarantee them. I know you know about the Zoom calls. I guarantee these Zoom calls is like, yo, we're not embarrassed. We are not embarrassed anymore. Say it with me. Repeat it, John. Like, these motherfuckers on these calls, like, listen, this narrative needs to change because we know they're going to be more reference tracks. Right now, you can expect the onslaught. They might leak the whole fucking album because whatever he did to this kid, right? What's this guy's name? Let me see what this kid's name is. Dim Crux, the producer, he did something bad, gang, and he got a lot of dirt on him. He might mess around and leak the whole album, gang. Whatever he did, but it seemed like this guy keeps doing stuff to people. He feels like he can move with impunity in this business. So he keeps doing stuff. When he get tired of you, So he throw you to the wayside, discard you. Now this producer came out and all this, they leaking this, that, and the third. There's a whole lot going on, gang. It's just like a crash course. And I know I said I was gonna get to it, and I'm gonna get to it. So at the end of the day, this guy, Dim Crux, right? He is upset. He works, he produces for Beam. The guy that does these songs, this, that, and the third, he's already tapped in, so they can't keep saying, who is this guy, da, da, da. Now you know who he is because he's in the credits, right? The credits that you guys keep talking about. You can't be a ghostwriter if he's in the credits, right? This guy, Beam, is in them credits. And at this point in time, what we're seeing now is they're not shy about this anymore. Right? This is where we've hit a point where just like they're starting to make like Tekashi doing all these Vlad TV interviews. He's not shy about the snitching allegations no more. He owns it. Right? He's saying the only difference between me and Gunna is I own it. I own it. Gunna won't even do an interview because he don't have nothing to say. They're getting to the point where they're beyond denial. They are in acceptance. Right? The 12 stages of grief. They are in acceptance. So now we're going to get an onslaught of trying to either burn everybody else and make they have no evidence, right? They have no evidence of a Nas reference track. They have not these fake Kendrick reference track talking about Baby Keem, right? No one believes that. But at the end of the day, they want to make it like they want to move the goalposts. Now, if you just got a hook, that's fine getting a hook. Everybody knows Timbaland used to come with the hooks ready already. So when he came in with them Jay-Z songs, Timbaland already had the hook. That's not the point. When you're making a song, let's just be clear. When you're making a song with producers, this, that, and the third, or you got a room in your mans and they like say, yo, take that line out, or say this, don't say it like that, da, da, da. That's not a ghostwriter, gang. I know you guys want to blur the line for your favorite rappers, right? The bubble bath rappers. That's not a ghostwriter because your man say, yo, say bucket instead of fuck it. B, trust me, B. Say bucket. It sound better. It's dope. Everybody know what a bucket is. You know what I'm saying? So that's not a ghostwriter. He helped you with it. He said, listen, say it like this. It sound better. A ghostwriter is a guy who literally sits there, writes the entire verse for you, and then you say the verse like you wrote it, like it's yours. That's a ghostwriter, whether he's in the credits or not. They want to make it now that if you got a hook, if someone just even gave you a melody, they hum something, oh, that's a ghostwriter, because their favorite person is involved with the ghostwriting scandal. But let's just be clear. in hip hop, people have always collaborated. The ghostwriter thing really only came around. We only started really even saying that because a lot of guys were starting to get big boned and brolic, like Drake and these other people. They started getting a little too fancy with it. They started acting like, yo, I'm that guy out here. But people really in the business know, they like, wait, John wrote like half your album, right? So people in the business start being like, gang, there are writers out there. I don't know if you want to call them something. I don't know the name, but people that they write stuff and they don't get credit. No one cared when it was R&B, right? Rick James wrote for all the Mary Jane girls, this, that, and the third. No one cared. No one cares when it's R&B. We don't care because that's not our sport. Hip hop is a competitive sport where you're supposed to be my rhymes versus your rhymes, right? How Tip say, my rhymes versus your rhymes. Come on, son, no equal. That's what hip hop's supposed to be. That's why we say he's a ghostwriter, she's a ghostwriter, because when you're supposed to be a real rapper's rapper, you ain't supposed to have nobody writing your raps. It's just that simple. If you ain't good enough to say your raps, then you don't need to be in this business, or we need to know clearly that you're just an artist. You're not a rapper. It's two different things, gang. An artist is different. An artist is supposed to just make the best music possible. If Drake wants to just be an artist, then hey, gang, listen, I can't say nothing about that. Be the best artist you can be, gang. But you want to be included. You say some lot of big bone brolic stuff about how people's is your sons and this, that, and the third. When you start talking that, you're saying that I'm your son and this, that, and the third, then we got a different conversation. It's a different conversation when you start talking about I'm birthing niggas. Da, da, da. Then now we got, well, what niggas? Who you talking about? Because Beam writing your shit, right? And a whole nother video coming about how Kendrick named Beam in that song. Basically, imagine knowing that the guy... Imagine knowing who the ghostwriter is of a guy. Like, imagine how much that in your psyche. When you sit down to battle this guy, you know that somebody else is going to be writing for him, and he's going to spit it like he wrote it. That's all. That's a whole nother subject, gang. I'm just going to be honest. That's diabolical in a psychological way. Like he said, if I got to fight all the dudes that write for you, he really wasn't just a bar. It really be dudes writing for him. So it's like that's a whole nother psychological level that this guy has taken this. He took on a battle knowing it would be more than just him in the battle. All right. But at the end of the day, we're at a point where this whole ghostwriting thing is starting to become a thing where the lines are getting blurred about what really is and what it's not. So we need to restore this shit and figure out what's going on. So at the end of the day, what we are seeing right now is a man trying to be one of the roughest, toughest. He's jumping on these features with these rappers. We know the game rights, right? We know these guys. We know certain guys write. They write for a living, and that's what they do. They all about the battle and brolic and da-da-da. Well, you're going to jump on records with these guys. I think that's sending a message that you think you're on the level with these guys, and that's where the problem comes in, right? So, end of the day, what the scandal is about, I went the long way around. If you've been on this channel before, you know this ain't nothing new. We get there when we get there, gang. All right? But the scandal is about Dem Crux, the producer. He went on he crashed out mission, bugged out. He got tired. I'm sure Drake did something to him, didn't pay him something. Allegedly, he got beat up. That's a whole nother video. We won't get talking to that. But it looked like he went on a crash out mission one day. I think it's because his man, they trying to burn his man some kind of way. I don't think it has nothing to do with him. Because most guys not gonna crash out for themselves. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, he could have crashed out. First of all, half this stuff is already, you know what I'm saying? He could have crashed out a long time ago, right? He could have crashed out when the dude said a Beam name on the record. He could have crashed out for any reason. It's a reason that he didn't. He kept it solid. It was something has happened, and it's almost guaranteed that something happened. He wouldn't have dragged his man in there. Let's put it like that. He wouldn't have dragged Beam in there if it wasn't something about Beam. Because at that point, you're messing up Beam's bag. So it must be, in my opinion, something with Beam that he's not happy about. This guy did something to Beam, and now he's taking it on for himself. He's like, oh no, I'll take this, right? He like, I'm a whole lot. Listen, don't you worry about. I got this guy. So I think once again, this guy, as a foul person that he seems to be in a lot of these situations, this is why we got the battle in the first place. This is why they claim it's 20v1. Well, it's 20v1 because 20 niggas feel like they got kind of screwed in one way or another. And we know it ain't 20v1. It's like 5 or 6 dudes. But end of the day, I'm talking about that rapping. I'm sure it's way more than that got a problem, right? But end of the day, them guys feel like there's a problem. So I feel like Dem Crux, right? I didn't know who Dem Crux is from a hole in the wall till this whole scandal broke, right? I didn't even know who Beam was. When Kendrick said who Beam is, make sure Beam right there, right with you. I was like, okay, I don't know what that means, but I'm just going to the record's cool. Let's keep it going, right? So at the end of the day, Beam is a real person, guys. I don't know if y'all know that, right? He could have been just a slang name or something. But no, he's a real person that really writes rhymes for this guy. He's in the credits, right? Allegedly. So, end of the day, when this guy started naming this guy, it was for a reason. I think that something's going on with Beam and Drake. Something's going on either is financially or some kind of way where something, a lot of this stuff be over females. Let's just be honest. I'm sure it ain't about a female because 9 times 10, Drake gonna win that. But at the end of the day, maybe it is about a female. You know how some of these guys, they love getting in the mix with other people's females. It could be something like that. We have no idea. But at the end of the day, whatever happened, Dem Crux, the producer, this dude so real about this shit. He said, man, if something happened to me, tell him Drake did it. That's how serious gang is with this. So it's some real funny business going on over there at the embassy. This dude like exposing shit. He just dragged Tiger in the shit. Like he's like, yo, y'all know what y'all did last summer. Drake running around with them coats talking about I know what y'all did last summer. Dem Crooks is like, nah, I know what you did this summer, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? So what's going on is there once again has been some type of offense. And now this guy's putting it all out there. He's making several posts. I think bro got quite a few regular on that Iceman. And I don't understand how you keep burning dudes that got so much vested time in what you're doing that they could literally just open up a thumb drive and unload on your career. I believe that, bro, I'm just going to be honest, though. I don't know how much a reference track at this point can really hurt this man. It's going to have to be scandals, right? The reference track, because the fans, already told you, the fans are already accepting it. They're talking about how cool he is to turn somebody. They're literally like, yo, he's so good. He takes other people's words and makes it his own to a degree where they would have never been able to do it. Oh, they would have never took it anywhere if it wasn't for. So they're gone. His close, the owls, right, as they say, yo, get active, right? The active ass owls, they don't care. But it's the everyday people that he needs to keep on his line. Right? The everyday people in the barbershops and this, that, and the third, the people like me or you that would have actually went and listened to some of the stuff, these are the people that they still need to keep in mind. But at the end of the day, I don't think, even at this point, most of us have accepted, okay, this dude, he uses ghostwriters. Most of us don't even put him in the conversation of hip-hop no more. We all set with this guy in the culture anyway. But at some point, you do have to still protect your brand. And I think that they're doing a bad job of protecting the brand because he seems to not take care of people that he needs to take care of. And it's like it's always an issue where somebody's upset, somebody is mad. I'm upset. Somebody's always coming out. Nobody, like I said, we don't get no reference tracks on anybody else. But every time you look up, it's a million reference tracks on this guy. Like every time you look up and every time they move the goalposts, well, if it was this record, then somebody comes with a reference track for that record. And you can trust and believe that you're going to get more of these tracks as more people start to feel burned, disrespected, or they can't tolerate what's going on, or they feel maybe he just ain't even listen to them. Like, I'm trying to tell you something, he just not listening. Dudes do anything for any reason. They could just want some attention, gang. Like, you coming through here tonight, like, nah, damn, you keep saying that shit. Like, gang, I got the Pro Tools, everything lined up. You keep saying like, it could be anything. So, what it looked like to me is this dude, Dem Crooks, right? And Beam, I think Beam is not, I don't think Beam is part of this whole expose, this whole narrative that this guy does whatever narrative they're trying to push. I think the producer is standing up for him because Beam don't want to mess up with it. He's been writing for this guy for a while. He's on all the dogs. He's on all these different projects. Dudes don't want to mess with their money. These bags are good, gang. Like, you gotta understand, at the end of the day, bags are good. Right now, the economy's crazy. So at the end of the day, I don't think that Beam is involved with this. And he probably really telling bro to chill out. I'm just going to be honest. He probably telling Joe, like, bro, he probably blowing up his phone like, bro, what is you doing, my nigga? Like, I know, I told you. He probably told him in confidence, like, bro, he's like, you know your boy, you know how you with your man, he be like, yo, man, listen. You know your boy did some fuck shit. What do you do this time? Oh, man, nigga ain't going to try to pay me for what? I guarantee you it's some slimy, goofy shit that bro is tired of seeing his man go out like that. He like, you know what, fuck that. Load the shit up. Like, load the shit up. Just sit in the fuck that. He's like, what you gonna do? He's like, don't do nothing. Just don't do nothing, please, for me. Don't do nothing. I got you. He probably told you what I'm gonna do. I got you. I ain't gonna do nothing. He's like, please, bro, listen. Damn, listen to me. Don't do nothing. Gang was like, I got you. I'm not gonna do nothing. As soon as he left, he put the smoke down like fuck this nigga, fuck everybody. So allegedly, bro just went cutting nuts and bugged out, posts all these different tracks, and this is gonna hurt because if these from the vaunted Iceman album that we supposed to be getting episodes for and all this and that, and you gotta think, your boy, right? I know he leaked some of these tracks, but He ain't leaking them with the reference track. So we could X that whole shit out. You know how we always saying Drake leaks. Like I did a video last week, a couple days ago. Drake is obviously the leaker. Yeah, he obviously the leaker on the songs that he really got his voice on. He ain't the leaker for these reference tracks. I can 100% guarantee you that. So it ain't no fucking. He's the one behind it. No, we gonna I'm just gonna stop you right there. He ain't leaking no reference tracks. So that's somebody else. And this dim some guy. I'm telling you right now, in my opinion. He's standing up for his man. This motherfucker's Prince. This nigga Ebony Prince right now. He feel away. He like, yo, you know what you did last summer, Drake. Like this motherfucker's listen. I'm guarantee you, he pissed somebody off, and we right there again. I don't know why this guy just can't just do the right thing. Gang Dudley do right type shit. No, it's like I think he feels like he really is above everybody, and it doesn't matter because let's be honest, his career has never really taken a hit until the battle. The career still ain't taking a hit. It's still not taking a hit because no one's on him about the references. They just had more references and it didn't stop anything. So I don't think that he thinks I think that he thinks nothing can take him out. That's why he treats these people like this. But the career's on life support right now. The new stuff, yeah, he just hit a milestone in his career. What was it, 120 billion streams? He's the only artist on earth to do that. And kudos to salute to this and that and the third. But at the end of the day, the career, the new stuff is not moving. It's not popping, right? They even sitting there trying to submit to the Grammys, this, that, and the third. But according to allegedly, that was Party Next Door because Drake is on he's on a boycott of the Grammys. Accordingly, Party Next Door submit in the rap category. That's what I'm saying. Like in the rap category, one of the songs from Some Sexy Songs for You is submitted into the Grammys, right? Allegedly, it wasn't Drake because he doesn't believe in the Grammys because they're anonymous people who get to vote on things that they have they don't know nothing about, right? So. He's in there for rap. Now, guess what? Guess who's in there? Kendrick, Clips. Who else is it? It's a couple other really good writers that we know right there raps, right? I can't remember who. Maybe I don't remember offhand, but there's a lot of good artists in that category that we know for a fact ain't got no ghostwriters, right? And you want to be considered for that, and you want to steal that. You want to steal that category and not even show up because you know he's not gonna show up because he's supposedly on a boycott. So steal the joint and say, oh well, Drake couldn't be here tonight. We're gonna accept this award. So you want to steal Kendrick shit, steal it from the Clips, and be like, oh, I didn't even want the shit anyway. Like, no, we can't. We gotta have these discussions because we're at a point now where it's starting to look like they're trying to shift it where anything goes in this rap thing. If you give it another 2 or 3 years, gang, you're going to be able to make the beats with AI, make the raps with AI, have the AI spit it and tell you how to spit it. You just memorize it, right? Get in there and say it like you remember. Take yourself 2 days, memorize it, come back in, spit it, and you're going to be able to win awards with that. You're going to be able to say, I'm the king of rap because I know how to do this, that, and the third, and you really ain't got to do nothing, and the people not going to care. Timbaland just dropped the AI artists. They got full-on AI bands doing millions. They already got an AI artist before Timbaland's AI artist. I believe it's a black girl. I think the artist is a black girl. I'm not sure, but I believe it's a black girl. She's doing numbers. So we already entering really wonky like footing. We're getting to a space where we're starting the whole rules of engagement are changing with this hip hop shit, right? So at the end of the day, what we're seeing now is the beginning of the change of the guard. But them crooks is like, hold up, before you do that, let me let y'all know this dude ain't like what we think he is. So at the end of the day, I don't know if this is enough for his fans, because like I told you in the beginning, they're already moving the needle as to where, depending on the kind of rap that it was written, depending on the kind of song, they're good with it. But for the end of the day, for most of us that's already looking at this guy as a clown, and this battle would have already been over if bro would have just left it a long, long time ago. We wouldn't even be talking about, here we go, yeah, another Drake, you doing another. They tell me that all the time, yo, your whole content is Drake. You still talking about a man you hate, right? That was the narrative they went on for. It's like, no, I'm talking about a dude that's gonna get us all paid. We eating like shit out here. These motherfuckers, YouTubers, we eating dim sum in this motherfucker. Like, we eating a whole bunch of dumplings and all kind of shit. We eating very, very good, gang, right? 5-star steakhouse, gang, because this guy won't let this shit go. So that's why we still talking about it. Nobody wakes up every morning like, I can't wait to talk about motherfucking Drake. Look, hand me them Cheerios. I want to talk about Drake. No, nobody wakes up like that. The simple fact of the matter, you giving us so much ammunition. You're forcing our hand, right? I had other shit I was going to talk about today. I was like, you got to talk about this Drake shit. This shit's crazy. This motherfucker making Birkin bags for niggas right now. I'm just going to be honest. Like, it never gets old. It never stops because the simple fact, bro won't let this shit go. We still here. We really still here. And on top of all that, we going to be 10 years of the first allegations when this guy came, what was it, 2016, 2015, 2016, when Meek said, yo, Drake is he got ghostwriter. This going to be the 10-year anniversary of that. So it's going to be a whole nother issue. And we still talking about fucking ghostwriters. We still talking about reference tracks in fucking it's going to be 2026. It's 2025 right now, and we're still talking about ghostwriting and reference tracks in regard to Aubrey Graham, the actor, the bubble bath rapper. It's mind-boggling where anybody else's career would have been over 8 years ago. They would have got 2 more years in the game and would have been bumped. But that's the whole industry plan. The industry got a lot of things involved, and that's another video I'm going to do. How this guy clearly, there's no way you survive these things if you are not backed by a really strong industry. There is absolutely no way you survive this many scandals and this many backdoor things going on and all these obvious affronts to morality, like just obvious nonsense. The stuff with the minors and this, that, and the third, the young girls with the wine coolers, all this shit. You survive all that shit and you're still the #1 streamed artist on the world and you don't think that's the industry? It don't make no sense to me unless it is the industry. That's a whole nother thing. But gang, listen, I watched hours of this shit. Like I watched a lot of stuff. I try to break it down for dummies like myself. And so basically the end of the story is one of Drake's former collaborators, Dem Crooks, who's in the building with Beam making these things. He's credited on certain songs, this, that, and the third, that Drake and other artists have been a part of, right? He bugged out because one reason or another, Drake pissed him off and offended him to some degree. Started posting these things about this, that, and the third, all these secret cryptic messages. He's posting that because he was offended to some degree, right? Drake has not responded, but a lot of people have. Akademiks jumped out there and started making excuses saying that all your favorites do the same simple thing. And not only Drake, not only Akademiks, there's a lot of Drake stan pages who are spinning that narrative. They've had their daily meeting, and the narrative now is going to be like everybody does it. They're not even going to try to defend it no more. They try to telling you it's like somebody trying to defend snitching at this point. Why are we defending snitching? What's wrong with it? If you can get out of prison early, wouldn't you do it? That's basically what it is. Like, well, if I can get out early, why wouldn't I tell? Like, why wouldn't you tell? Like, they're making it like, well, wouldn't you do the same thing? They're trying to water down whatever's going on with this culture and what we used to hold dear. That's a lot of that shit out the window, right? A lot of shit, Red Man, Method Man, a lot of that shit out the window. All that shit we used to think was whatever. Now it's like, ooh, that's cringy now. So it's like, we're fighting an uphill battle. We're fighting an uphill battle that until we figure out where we going to stop and let this stuff fall. I know we let a lot of stuff in the culture where, okay, we started to bend and we kind of like, that's not so bad. Okay, it's not that egregious. All right, what else you got? So it started to be like everything can be explained away, and now that's where we are with ghostwriting. We can explain it away. We can say, okay, all right, that's not so bad. What else you got? So now it's the needles gets pushed back into the point where, everybody do that. Everybody gets help on a beat here and there. It's not that you can get help on a hook and you just got a ghostwriter. That's not how that works, gang. We need to define ghostwriter means you're trying to act like you're better than you really are. You're not disclosing that. You're waiting for us to find out, and you're perpetrating, you're presenting yourself as to be a really good MC. A really good MC don't got no ghostwriter. Nobody's writing none of his bars, none of that shit. And I need that to be clear. But we're to a point where we still got to fucking figure out, what's a ghostwriter? Well, if someone helps you, no, this is what it is. If somebody fucking writes your whole verse or part of your verse, now I ain't talking about one word, 2 word, that I'm talking about they write your whole shit. I'm not talking about the hook, da-da-da. A ghostwriter, if they're credited or not, if you are supposed to be the top rapper and someone's putting pen to pad for you, they just ghost wrote for you. End of story. If Jay-Z come out right now and Blue wrote all his shit, guess what? Blue is his ghostwriter. Okay? If Kanye come out right now, Northwest wrote the whole album and he's spitting it like it's his, guess what? She's a ghostwriter. I don't care if her name in the credit. I shouldn't have to look in the credits to find out what's going on in your hip hop discography. I don't need no credits. We didn't look in the credits for none of that shit back in the day. You don't need to. The simple fact of the matter is, if you want to look in the credits, that's fine. But I should need to know that someone else wrote your shit because they're in the credits. End of the day, if you're going to be an artist that accepts that, then you don't need to be talking no braggadocious nothing because you're not good. You can't be a braggadocious rapper when someone's writing your bars, and that's all we get out of this guy. a bunch of braggadocious bullshit where he's this, that, and the third. He's tough. He's rough and rumble and all this now. Don't come through here, da-da-da, the 6 and all this shit. We get all that shit. But end of the day, most of the time, someone else wrote it. So no, we're not accepting ghostwriters in this business. It's not about, in this culture. It's not about the business side. It's the culture side. Just in case we're not clear. If you got any questions, let me know, gang. I'm here all fucking week. I'm acceptable. I'm accessible. I'm here. All right. On that note, man, I'm out of here, man. I hope I answered your questions. It is what it is. I guess Beam gonna have to go solo or something like that. I don't know what's going on. But end of the day, where we at right now, we're seeing the evolution of it not being a shame as an MC for someone to write your raps. We're getting to a point where they're trying to change that too. They're trying to make that to a whole thing, right? They're trying to make fetch into a thing, right? It is what it is, man. Listen, I'm out of here. CLBMG. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. All right? I'm going to catch you on that flip side, man. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. Also, every Wednesday night, we go live. Me, TJ, and Fliz on the What Show. All right? And I'm about to bring that Patreon out. I'm going to tap in and let y'all know what's going on. The this, that, and the third Patreon account is going to be in the Challz Brown Patreon. I'm going to let y'all know probably a couple days that's going to be up and running, and we're going to get that popping. All right, I'm going to catch you on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high-quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6-man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking, and all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like Pats fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here, we ain't the cheese, we the trap.